Let us recap. Determinism proposes that there is a cause for all our behaviors. This is orchestrated by internal and external forces. Free will is an illusion. Evolving psychology and science are taking a hard position to support this. Ultimately, we are seen as no more than biological machines. Even our consciousness is interpreted as a response from different levels of arousal of our nervous system. I must say that their position can be very compelling. In 1966, Charles Whitman was finally shot by police. He had committed horrendous mass murders of family and strangers. A suicide note was found. It was a plaintive cry of someone who was in mental agony. He talked about how he loved his family and other fellow human beings. Still, something beyond his control was driving him to commit these outrageous crimes. He had difficulty understanding his own behavior. He begged that an autopsy be done on his brain. On autopsy, a tumor was found resting on an area of the brain that would explain this aggressive behavior. It was argued that he was a victim of biology, that his response was purely neurophysiological. He was seen as a victim of causality. Simply put, this means that cause creates an effect. The effect is dependent on a cause being present. Whitman's tumor caused the murders. The impact of the killings would not have happened if it were not caused by his tumor. The hard position on determinism states that our brains, genetic inheritance, and biology are constantly regulating our lives internally. Add the external influences of our society, we have another set of regulations taking place. Combine these two, we are continually changing the way we are responding to these influences and affecting how we react and see the world as incidents arise. There was an incident where a young adult was charged with severely assaulting another young man on the city light rail transit. He beat the victim with his own baseball bat and took his baseball shirt. He was later arrested. In a psychiatric evaluation, the assailer broke down in tears and talked about how his parents were working at 2 jobs, that he and his siblings were always hungry. They had 1 or 2 meals a day, usually cornflakes. He felt so angry and resentful that others were in a better position than his family. When the victim entered the train with his friends, he was talking, laughing, and having fun. The assailer interpreted him to be cocky and showing off. His anger became overwhelming, and he attacked the victim. Determinists would say that there was a cause for his rage, and the effect was the acting out. They would argue that if the young man had food and resources, he would not have committed it. In other words, it may appear that he had free will. Still, both his internal and external drives and social triggering by the victim were driving his response. Thomas and Chess were 2 psychologists who studied temperament over decades and came up with interesting findings. Temperament is described as our natural predisposition due to a person's mental, physical, and emotional traits. They considered the child's temperament to be inborn but can be shaped by their environment and how they are nurtured. They found 9 personality characteristics that they could very reliably use to predict a child's temperament. They found that their profiling was reliable as early as the age of 2 to 3 months. These qualities could also be identified and rated in a wide diversity of the population. They found that the results were consistent in children who were wealthy, poor, recent immigrants, mentally challenged, premature, or even with congenital rubella. The position of determinism is strong in the domain of neuroscience, cognitive, and behavioral psychology. These groups claim that the brain has already done the heavy lifting and decided how we will respond. Some have proposed that it is an illusion if we feel that we are making a free choice. Determinism and free will are part of our core beliefs and influences how we think and act. So are you comfortable with the position that your life is decided for you and that the ability to make a choice of your own free will is an illusion?